Craig Melvin's unseen struggles, navigating chronic illness while on air. For millions of viewers, Craig Melvin has long appeared as a steady, reassuring presence, someone who greets the morning with composure and clarity, offering the illusion that confidence and control are constants rather than carefully maintained achievements. Yet behind the camera's glow and the practiced rhythm of live television unfolded a quieter, more demanding reality, one shaped by chronic illness and the daily negotiations it requires. A reality familiar to many who have reached a stage of life where health is no longer a background assumption but a central consideration. Chronic illness does not always announce itself dramatically, and for Craig, its presence often manifested in fatigue, discomfort, and the mental discipline required to remain fully present while managing symptoms that could not simply be postponed until after the broadcast, a balancing act that resonates deeply with those in their 60s who understand the invisible labor of pushing forward while listening closely to a body that increasingly insists on being heard. Beside him throughout this journey stood Lindsay Charniak, not merely as a supportive spouse, but as a grounding force who understood the emotional weight of maintaining professionalism while privately confronting vulnerability, recognizing that strength at this stage of life is less about endurance without pause and more about discernment, about knowing when to press on and when to step back without shame. Craig's decision to continue working through his condition was not rooted in denial or bravado, but in a desire for normalcy and purpose, a reminder that chronic illness does not erase identity or ambition, though it does reshape them, requiring a recalibration of expectations that many viewers quietly undergo themselves as they navigate lingering health concerns, medical routines, and the emotional toll of unpredictability. What made Craig's struggle particularly poignant was its invisibility, the way illness coexisted with public success, challenging the notion that appearance reflects reality and underscoring a truth well understood by older generations. That dignity often involves carrying burdens without spectacle, choosing discretion over disclosure, not out of shame, but out of self-preservation. Lindsay, seasoned by her own career in sports journalism, recognized the temptation to mask discomfort behind competence, yet she also understood the importance of creating space at home where Craig could release the day's tension, voice fears he could not afford to articulate publicly, and rest without feeling diminished, reinforcing a partnership built not on rescue, but on mutual respect and adaptability. For viewers aged 60 to 65, Craig's journey mirrors their own lived experiences, the realization that health challenges do not arrive with clean resolutions, that progress is rarely linear, and that resilience is often measured in consistency rather than dramatic improvement, in showing up despite uncertainty while quietly adjusting routines, priorities, and self-expectations. Craig's ability to navigate live television while managing chronic illness speaks to a refined form of courage that emerges with age, one that acknowledges limitations without surrendering purpose, reminding audiences that contribution does not require perfection and that visibility does not negate vulnerability. As the years passed, Craig learned to listen more attentively to his body's signals, to value preparation and pacing over sheer willpower, and to redefine success not as powering through discomfort, but as sustaining health over time, a lesson echoed in households across the country where individuals weigh commitments against energy, ambition against longevity. Lindsay's presence throughout this evolution highlights an often overlooked truth, that chronic illness is rarely an individual experience, but a shared one, shaping household rhythms, future planning, and emotional landscapes in ways both subtle and profound, teaching patience, empathy, and the quiet art of standing beside someone without attempting to control their journey. There was a particular resonance for older viewers in witnessing a public figure embrace a version of strength that aligns with their own reality, one that values transparency with oneself, adaptability in daily life, and the courage to remain engaged even as the body demands negotiation rather than compliance. Craig Melvin's unseen struggles ultimately offer not a tale of triumph over illness, but a more honest and sustaining narrative of coexistence, of finding meaning in stability while living with ongoing challenges. And in doing so, he and Lindsay reflect a truth that becomes clearer with age, that life's most admirable victories are not always loud or visible, but quietly earned through persistence, partnership, and the grace to accept change without allowing it to diminish purpose, reminding a generation that has weathered decades of transformation that resilience is not the absence of struggle, but the wisdom to keep moving forward with realism, dignity, and hope, even when the camera is rolling and the challenges remain unseen.